Hello there and welcome to Business 24 on iBrandTV, Nigeria's leading online channel. I am Michael Nath, and as usual, we're going to talk about business dynamics. Our focus this episode is cryptocurrency, the facts and the fallacies. Now, before we go ahead, we shall take our business tip commercial break. After that, we'll be back and resume with the rest of the business here. Business tip first. Analyze your competition carefully. Competition breeds the best results. You're watching Business 24 here on iBrandTV. Now, like I said earlier, our focus in this episode is on something very interesting, cryptocurrency. And the topic is cryptocurrency, the facts and the fallacies. Now, the first cryptocurrency was Bitcoin. The Bitcoin domain was registered in 2008, but the first transaction took place in 2009. It was developed by someone called Satoshi Nakamoto. And however, there is speculation that Nakamoto is a pseudonym, as the Bitcoin creator is notoriously secretive. And no one knows whether he is a person or a group. Now, cryptocurrency is a medium of exchange that is digital, encrypted, and decentralized. It is a digital or virtual currency that uses cryptography and is difficult to counterfeit because of this secret feature. Cryptocurrency is a type of currency which uses digital files as money. Usually, the files are created using the same methods as cryptography, that is, the science of hiding information. Now, cryptocurrencies use decentralized control, which means that they aren't controlled by one person or government. Cryptocurrency is digital money. That means there is no physical coin or bill. It's all online. You can buy cryptocurrency with a credit card, or in some cases, get it through a process called mining. Cryptocurrency is stored in a digital wallet, either online, on your computer, or on other hardwares. Now, cryptocurrency cannot be considered an investment. When you buy gold, fiat currency, or cryptocurrency, there's prices just fluctuates in the market. These fluctuations give an impression that they are good or bad. Now, to help sort out all the issues here, I have with me here a cryptocurrency specialist by name Seun Duro Fadipe. Seun, you're welcome to Business 24.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Mike. I'm delighted to be here.
You're welcome once again. Now, to kick off, can you give us your personal definition of cryptocurrency? What is cryptocurrency?
All right. So cryptocurrency is a digital currency, and it is verified on a decentralized system called the blockchain. All right. It's a decentralized system, and it operates in a trustless and permissionless manner, which means it doesn't require a third party. There's no centralized medium through which it is exchanged. It's entirely done peer to peer. That is, from an individual to another individual. There's no intermediary, so to speak, basically.
Okay. And anybody can take part in this?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Really? Yes. Is it meant for just the elite, that is those who have knowledge of cryptocurrency, on how it's traded, or just for illiterates in the villages, for instance, can they also take part?
Yes, to a very large extent, because basically it's digital. So anyone that understands how the digital space works.
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
Yes. So
you have somebody to do it on your behalf?
Yes, there are people that can do it on your behalf. But basically, if you understand, anyone that can operate a mobile device or just understands how the digital space works, then you will be able to transact in cryptocurrencies.
So for those in the villages, for instance, who want to do it, they have to look for people who
Yes,
do it.
maybe.
And there are people whose job it is to do it for
Absolutely.
people who do not know about it.
Absolutely. And possibly also educate them on how to do it themselves if they're willing to learn.
What's the most special feature? What's the most important thing that makes it unique? I mean, talking about cryptocurrency.
The most special thing, in my opinion, is the fact that it's decentralized. And fiat currencies are, basically anything that's required or regarded as money is something that has to be generally acceptable, right? It has to be used as a medium of exchange. Now, the very interesting thing about cryptocurrency is the fact that you can exchange it, you can use it to exchange for goods and services without a third party being involved. No central body, such as a central bank, none of those, involved in this kind of transaction. Which means that if you want to transact, probably cross-border transactions, you're going to have to pay a lot using the traditional banking system.
Yes.
You'll be required to pay a lot in transaction fees. Now, when you're using the cryptocurrency, that is cut down to the barest minimum. There's speed. I can send something to you and you're receiving it almost immediately. You don't get that with the traditional banking system. So it makes it really interesting. And the fact that it's limited in supply, if it's limited in supply, how elementary economics tells us that demand and supply is correlated. Okay, so if it is limited in supply, it means that the few that you have in circulation will appreciate in value. As long as there's demand.
Just like stock markets?
Absolutely.
Wow.
As long as there's demand for it and it's limited in supply, people will start transacting in the secondary market. Meaning you no longer have to mine it, you have to actually buy from someone that already owns it. You understand? And that's how the value appreciates.
What's the difference between a cryptocurrency now and forex trade?
Okay, now forex is actually the biggest financial market, and you're trading currencies. You're trading, say, the US dollars against another currency, say the Japanese, Chinese yen, or But when you're dealing in cryptocurrency is an asset, is a digital asset. The same way people buy stocks, you can buy them, right? When you buy them, but you have to be informed to know exactly what to buy per time, because they have, because they will appreciate what determines the value is the demand and supply. So you want to look out for how much in demand is this particular cryptocurrency. That's what determines what the price will be ultimately.
It has times and seasons.
Absolutely.
Oh, I see.
So you really have to know exactly where you're peaking. You need to know what value, because one key thing is the use case. Any cryptocurrency that doesn't have a use case, because there has to be a problem it's solving.
When you say use case, could you break it down?
Okay. For instance, Bitcoin, which I like to call the kingpin of cryptocurrencies, is, in terms of market share, market capitalization, is the biggest. Now, it was developed to be able to solve, the heavy fees you have to pay on transactions, to make it a way that money is no longer transacted using the traditional banking system. If I want to send you money, I no longer have to use the traditional banking system. I can send it peer to peer. So there is swift transaction. It's really fast. Okay, so that's the use case. The use case is to ensure there's a way I can send you money without you having to wait several hours to get it, or regardless of your location, I can send it to you wherever you are, and you can get it almost instantly.
Wow.
So that's a use case. All right. So because of that use case, people want this currency, and because people want it, it will naturally appreciate in value.
Yeah, I've heard you say that the most popular cryptocurrency is Bitcoin.
That's correct.
And that implies that we have other forms of cryptocurrencies.
Absolutely. We have over 6,000 of them.
My goodness.
And new ones are emerging every single day. All right, now we have some, just like everything, once something is getting popular, you're going to have people come together and try to, hijack the process. By that I mean people are going to come with different kind of fake programs, disguising them as cryptocurrency programs and all of that. But those that understand, know the key parameters, the key things to look out for, in whatever you call a cryptocurrency. A cryptocurrency, and I mean a real cryptocurrency, has to be limited in supply. Right now, if you see a currency comes and it tells you we're going to have about 1 trillion of this particular in circulation, then that's a red flag. It has to be limited, and
the more limited it is, the higher the value.
Absolutely, that's how it works. So if it's limited in supply, then you're certain that people that, and around the use case, I mean that there has to be something that is a need. People need, something they need for instance, I'll talk about another cryptocurrency now.
Okay.
It's called the VeChain, right? VeChain is supposed to solve the supply chain. There's certain lapses in the supply chain industry. That's what this coin aims to solve. All right. So every currency must be solving a problem, a specific problem. Now, if people decide to transact in that particular currency, that's because they believe that because of the use case and because of the kind of solutions it brings to the marketplace, people will always come for it. All right. And as long as there's demand for it, value will keep appreciating. So the key factor is it has to have a problem it's solving, it must have a definite use case, and it must be limited in supply.
That's true. Now, quite recently, many countries banned the trade, that's cryptocurrency trading.
Okay,
if
that's
I got
correct.
it right, Nigeria inclusive. Yes.
Nigeria didn't ban it.
The central bank intervened, and at least if they didn't ban it outright, they discouraged the further trading.
Okay, I'll explain that. Now, what the central bank did was to give a directive that our banks should stop transacting in cryptocurrencies. They should stop supporting cryptocurrency remittances. What that means is you can transact it, but the banks won't support it. So if I can transact, if two individuals can transact it, fine. Initially we could, sell the cryptocurrency, then have someone remit money to our bank accounts. That no longer exists because now the banking system doesn't support it, right? So it's not trading of cryptocurrency that was banned, is banks supporting cryptocurrency trading.
Are you trying to say that cryptocurrency can still go ahead without the bank, central bank being involved?
Absolutely. And that's how we've transacted since the directive came.
Which means this has the capacity to affect the economy of a nation. Because it's the central bank that determines how much money is in circulation. They know the right time to inject more money into circulation or to reduce it and stuff. But with cryptocurrency, now being beyond the control of the central bank, that means definitely businesses can be going ahead, which businesses, of course, you and I know, involve the exchange of money.
Yes.
All right? And if cryptocurrency is that legal tender and does the same thing money from central bank and others such financial institutions do, that means definitely it's going to affect the operations of the central bank.
Thank you. Now, that part,
and by extension, the economy of the country.
That's correct. Now, the thing about it is that I don't know if recently I was seeing a broadcast from the vice president of the country, Professor Shivajo, and he said that, cryptocurrency is here to stay. The blockchain technology is here to stay. And the scare right now is the fact that it's not regulated. All right. And all there is to do is to have the regulations in place. For instance, in the United States, JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, that's their CEO, recently, years back, said that Bitcoin is a fraud. Now I'm quoting what he said exactly.
Okay.
Bitcoin is a fraud.
Not you saying it.
Not me.
You're
saying
quoting
it.
something.
Yes.
Okay.
It says Bitcoin is a fraud. Now, in recent time, he has said that again. He revisited that and said, Bitcoin is the future. Right. He says that.
Same person.
Yes. It says that Bitcoin is the future. He says he's not going to deal in it, but from the look of things, it is the future. And right now, And that's evident by what JP Morgan is now doing. They are beginning to consider, developing their own cryptocurrency, and they're going to call it a JPM. And with that, they're going to be able to transact. Instantaneous transactions can happen, and all of this. So it's a technology that is there to stay. And Professor Yemi Oshibaji said that it's not something. We cannot act in fear, or act in like what needs to be done is to put regulations in place to ensure that it's traceable, or to ensure that at least to a very large extent we can determine how much of it is injected into the economy and all of that. So basically what needs to be done is to have regulations around it, so that to a very large extent we can determine how who is transacting and all of these things. There are platforms these days that you need to undergo KYC before they allow you to transact. So to a very large extent, it's
not. Put that down.
Yes. Now, if you want to transact, or you want to buy, or you want to trade, there are certain platforms now that require that you put in your government-issued ID card. Has to be there. Then you have to do a selfie with your phone. You have to put your address, probably through a bank statement or something, so that you can verify your address. So the issue of anonymity to a very large extent is being, piped down on. So basically, you can still, transact in cryptocurrency without, there are certain measures in place now that ensures that, at least to a very large extent, certain measures that ensure that you can transact under a regulated or within a regulated system. Atmosphere.
Now, is this cryptocurrency, is it universally accepted and certified? Now, talking about global financial organizations like IMF, the World Bank, does cryptocurrency is it certified by such bodies?
Now it boils down to the same regulation. Now, they are aware that there's a new wave, in the monetary system, and it's cryptocurrency for remittances and all of these things. So the measures they are trying to put in place is having regulations, regulating it. I mean, if you cannot totally eradicate something, it only makes sense that you have measures in place to ensure that it's controlled to a large extent. And that's exactly what the IMF is doing. The IMF is ensuring that it puts, regulatory things in place, elements in place to make sure that this is transacted under control.
Which means it is recognized by IMF?
Absolutely.
And IMF uses it as well?
Not exactly, not yet. Right, they're trying to put measures in place so that it can now be used, so that they can now officially pronounce it as a way to transact.
When you say officially pronounced, that means it's not legal, it's not universally legal.
That's all it means. That's all it means. What this means is that it is currently something people are using, right? But as IMF, they have the duty to ensure that it is regulated. All right. So before they can officially say, okay, we are aligning ourselves with this, the regulation, they must be done with the regulations. Okay. So right now, that phase where they're trying to put make the regulations and put the regulations in place so that people can now transact freely. Like I said, people still transact in cryptocurrencies today.
Of course they do.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it.
But of course, the banks are not supporting it. But the moment IMF, they're done with their regulations, our own government now put these things in place, then definitely you can now freely transact in cryptocurrencies.
Now, what about the report or belief that cryptocurrency either directly or indirectly aids and abates fraud? All these fraudsters, do their transactions, using cryptocurrency.
Yeah, basically, I'm sure that is because of the anonymity, right? And the thing about it is, when it was designed, like I said, by Satoshi Nakamoto, if it's a single person or a group of people, we do not know.
Oh, the secrecy started right from the origin.
From the very beginning.
So now we do not know who actually...
it could be you. It's that, honestly, because we do not know who that person is, right? Whether living or dead, we do not know. But what we know is he came up with computer protocol that's done well, in my opinion, to the remittance system. Because, I mean, if I can now transact with someone abroad, across borders, without worrying about fees, those heavy fees to pay, and I can, it's a digital world, for crying out loud. What that means is that there's a way for us to transact without necessarily seeing each other. Right. Wow. That's a brilliant thing about it.
There was a time we got this report of heavy investors, incurring huge losses. I mean, investors in cryptocurrency.
That's correct. That's correct. And that happened, I think, about last week. And that was when the president of the United States, what's the name again?
Biden?
Yeah, Biden.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. Joe Biden simply just came and said they were going to start taxing, people that deal in cryptocurrencies, people that make profits from cryptocurrencies, capital gains from, securities like this, And the way the market works, it works with news.
Okay.
Now, people that understand that there's technical analysis and there is fundamental analysis. Now, fundamental analysis basically is when there's anticipation of something is about to happen. All right, when something's about to happen, people tend to move. Now, it could be positive, it could be negative. In this case, they're anticipating that without pronouncement, a lot of people are going to start withdrawing. Now, you already understand the relationship between supply and demand. So if a lot of people try to withdraw, it's going to nosedive.
Definitely.
Now, that anticipation made a lot of people start pulling out their funds. Now, if a lot of people pull out their funds, then it's only logical that what you have left will nosedive in value. All right, that was what happened recently. And since then, I think it nosedived from, it was trading around 50, around 60, then it came to about 46. But as I speak to you, it's hovering around 55, 57,000. So it was something called FUD. Fear, there is fear, uncertainty, and the D. I've forgotten what that D stands for now. But basically, it's just the way, once that sets in, it just makes people just, want to act immediately and in anticipation of what might happen. So that was what happened in that case. People that had it started selling. All right, and because they were selling, you know how it works. When you sell, you crash down the price. So people started selling, and the price fell. It dropped drastically. But after that, and I think that just happened within a week, and after that, it moved up again.
What's the possibility of those people bouncing back to the original status before?
Absolutely. I mean, at some point, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, for instance, was trading around 20,000. Even early this year, it was still somewhere around that. Right now, we're speaking about something that's appreciated to 55,000. That's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. And there's still projection that's going to go possibly to 70 or even 100 before this year runs out. All right. So there are indices, that will determine those stuffs. But then there's a very large possibility that we might see 100, we might see 70 this year.
Okay, we also got the report of the possibility of China coming up with its own cryptocurrency. And in this case, it is expected that their cryptocurrency is going to be regulated and also domiciled in that country. What's your view about this?
Yeah, now, China, as we all know, they're like the commercial,
a second largest economy after US.
After the US, yes. So right now they are beginning to try to get involved. They've always been, right, because a lot of cryptocurrency developers have links to these places, right? Tron, the guys behind Tron, Justin, those are guys that have link with China. All right. Now they are trying to also now create theirs now, and that's what I think every nation should do. Now I'm going to quote Professor Shibaji again. He said that we mustn't act in fear. Now what this means is that instead of trying to wave it off or trying to act like it's irrelevant or it's not something that can work in a system, we should start thinking, how we can position ourselves to also, so that we are not late to the party this time. You know, I mean, things have always happened around the world. It takes us years to get involved and all that. So it's a great time to also emulate the, you know, some of the countries of the world, what they're already doing, to ensure that we also align ourselves so that we don't become latecomers. Because whether we like it or not, we're going to get involved at some point.
Definitely.
So it's important that if we are going to get involved at some point, why not get involved early? You know, so I think that the most important thing is to also have regulations in place so that to a very large extent we can control the kind of transactions that happen in this space.
All right. Now we had the MMM, whatever that one meant, you know, when a lot of people invested in it, and at the end of the day there were losses, huge losses. Some even went as far as committing suicide.
That's correct.
Is there no connection that directly or indirectly between MMM and such other fake businesses and cryptocurrency?
Zero correlation. Zero. Now, MMM was simply a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme has no real value. It's just people. It's just a money game. People, money exchanging hands without no real value, right? And money is sustained by its value that sustains money. All right. So when there's no real value, it's I mean, whatever it is meant to crash. Now, but here we're talking about assets that are actually trading on exchanges, right? And because these are assets that you can transact in, exchange for fiat if you want, it has no correlation at all.
I see. Now,
no
we would have drawn the curtain on this very subject, but I won't let you go, Seun, until you've given us your parting shot.
All right. I am going to say this. At some point, you are going to get involved. That's the truth. I mean, just imagine when we had the GSM, for instance.
Briefly, please.
Yes, the rest of the world have had it before we had that. So it's important that we start educating ourselves, even if you think it's vague right now. If you think you don't have enough information, I want to say that you should start educating yourself. Everyone should try to get educated about these things and start positioning themselves, because it's a wave that's going to get to us real soon. It's here and it's going to get official real soon. So it's important that we get all positioned before
Thank you so much, Seun, for your thoughts. I want to believe that you gained a lot from being part of the show today. I've been talking with Seun Duro Fadipe, cryptocurrency experts. You wouldn't know what we have in store for you the next time we come back here. So all you got to do is make sure you are watching out, because we're promising another fantastic edition of the show. It's been iBrand Business 24, and I've been the host, Michael Nath. Thank you very much for being part of it all.